Meeting will now come to order. Minutes of the previous meeting held April 23rd, 2019.
Motion to approve as written.
Second. Moved by the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Purchase orders.
Okay, we have a list of 8 items there. The bigger one is for Reith Riley, and that's for the old Grand Beach Road water main project, which is part of our project, and some of this will be paid by the developer out there, so, and it's all been approved in the estimates. Haas and Associates is for the engineering services on the Sheridan Beach improvements there we approved last meeting for $21,300. And then a new one for John Doyle, that's for this, what we're gonna talk about tonight for Dune Lane, to design the line going up that lane, and also then to write legal description for the easement. With Haas and Associates, I have not got a commitment from them 5 people out there, so what I'd like to do is just kind of hold that back. I mean, you can approve it, but I'm gonna hold it back until I get a commitment out there. I'm not gonna do that project unless we get some kind of yay or nay from them. So, other than that, I'm gonna replace a couple desks down at the plant. The other 2 are in really bad shape. Legs are falling off them. And then some bills and forms. Other than that, that's all.
Is this Haas and Associate, the one by Canada, over there by Fogarty, that area there?
No, this is the one down on Nevada Ave,
okay.
Carolina and stuff.
Gotcha.
What exactly are they doing for us?
They're going to design lay out the water main on the streets and send the NOI in. And then we're going to do the 2-inch and the 4-inch lines, tie them all together out there, and then upgrade have the people pay for the new 1-inch taps, and then we'll tie them over and get rid of some of that old stuff.
Does you need commitment from all 5? Or?
For the board?
No, from the...
Well, I'd like to get a commitment from a couple of them out there, at least knowing that they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go through the expense of designing everything, and then we could do the main work. I mean, that's not a problem, but I don't want to cut up the street twice if we're going to put taps in some of it. So.
You said they would pay another tap fee?
They would have to pay the tap fee. That's what we had agreed to at the last meeting, that there's 5 of them, they pay the $15.85, and then we do the main work in there and upgrade the main work.
All right. So we need an approval on this, right?
Okay.
We approve.
Second.
Moving proper second, all in favor? Ayes have it, motion's carried. Okay. Bad debt list. Short but kind of big.
Yeah, the largest one on here is Sears Holding Management Corp., and that was prior to their bankruptcy, and then they filed bankruptcy, so there wasn't nothing we could get from them. And then this Johnny Bergson, that was from a leak that he was paying on. It was up to like $700 he paid down, and then he skipped out on it, so. And again, that's a tenant.
So with Sears, we're in line in the bankruptcy court then on that.
Well, this is before they filed bankruptcy, so I don't know if we'll get anything or not.
It's probably not worth pursuing.
Yeah.
All right. Move we write out the bad debt list for bookkeeping purposes only.
Second.
Moving proper second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion carried. Item 4.
Okay, this is a revised main extension estimate for Wally Pritz's subdivision that he's planning out there on Paz Road. What he did is turned the south portion of those buildings facing the north, so none of the driveways back into Paz Road, and then he's gonna put all of them on 2 streets out there, or 4 streets actually, instead of the number of streets he had before. So it's just a revised cost. It comes down a little bit because we'll participate by going underneath Paz Road, and again, we'll absorb the labor. We'll quote the entire project to him and let him determine which streets he plans on doing, and then we'll move forward from there.
And this is all in the county, right?
Yeah, and the first thing I want to do is make sure he owns the property.
His permits.
And has county,
Permits and everything, right?
yeah. So, we approved it once, I don't see a problem here.
So he shortened the line, is that what happened? That's why it's...
Well, he
Other than the roads?
he turned them buildings around so they don't back in, but now he doesn't have to pay for that frontage along Todd's Road. He'll have one main there on that first south road, both north, east and west. So, which is better for him, and I don't see an issue there.
That's fine.
Okay. Item 5.
Okay, this is a little, you have to look at your drawing. Years ago, and it still does, have a 3-inch line going up off of Turner Court and Glidden Ave, up Dune Lane, and then it turns and goes up the hill. Serves a total of 5 homes out there. Well, the people at 104 Glidden Ave, they want to put a pool in their backyard here. And this 3-inch line cuts across the property. And the lady who owns this lane agreed that we could, if we got an easement for them and upgraded our water main, we can move forward with letting them move that water line out of their property. And I agreed that maybe we should upgrade that line from an old galvanized 3-inch line to a 4-inch. It'd be easier to tap and maintain and get it in the easement where it should be anyway. So I got a price from Doyle to do the engineering on that. I think that's the PO that I showed you this afternoon, or a little bit ago. But the total project on this for us would be the $57,757. And, well, we would do it all, actually. We'd do it for 68, but the actual cost of the department would be the 57 because of the materials. But we'll do it with a directional bore method so it doesn't disturb a lot of ground out there, and we won't have a lot of site restoration. Once the new line's in place, we'll tie the services over. There's only, like I say, 5, and it would be better for us to have that ductile iron in there than that galvanized. Give the people a little more volume up there, and that galvanized is probably full of crud anyway. It's been in there since the 30s, so it's time.
So this was going on someone else's property?
Well,
we had that running, and how did we manage to do that?
I think at one time we pretty much inherited this 3-inch line, and I think what happened here, in this corner of this property, when I read meters, I remember concrete pads sitting there. And I think what they did, they came up here, instead of cutting through the concrete, they went around that concrete with that 3-inch line and then up the hill. And they just didn't want to cut the concrete out of it. So that concrete dates back into the 30s as well. So that's my assumption of how that line got to run around there on private property. And these people didn't know it was in there. I didn't know it was in there, neither did anybody else for that matter. So we want to kind of do this, get an easement going so we can get everything approved to get this relocated and upgraded, and it'll be a much better system out there once we're done.
Yeah.
Did that line belong to another utility at one time?
No.
No, it was always out?
I think we inherited. I think it was a private line because that was never a dedicated easement. That lane was all private, and the people that own it live here, and they said that they would dedicate this as an easement to us if we would provide updating that line. And I think it's a good move. And
So we're going to move it, though. We're going to move it on the easement.
We're going to get rid of the 3-inch line altogether. Yeah.
And put it in the same spot where it's happening.
Well, no, we're going to move it over a little bit.
Right, move it over.
As long as
on their
we're in the
property.
easement, yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
So, but it'll be a much better for us, and it'll give us a little more legal ease to get in there too when there is a problem, and we can tap it later on. So I think it would be in our best interest to do this.
Yeah, that's You don't remember, wait, before your time too, because you don't remember, recall when the department using 3-inch galvanized, do you?
We never put any in. I mean, we've got another spot in town that's got it, but it's only for one block, and that's out here in the old Canada area. But years ago, down on the intersection where Glidden and Turner Court and that all come together, there used to be a pump station down there to pump the water up the hill because of at that time the pressures out of the plant were lower. So, and there's an 80-foot difference between Lakeshore Drive and the top of the hill, so you can imagine that the pressure is going to drop. So by putting a little bit bigger pipe in there, we're going to help a little bit with that.
Sure.
So we just need a motion for this one.
Motion to approve the upgrades in the water grid system.
Second.
Moving properly second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carried, accept the superintendent's recommendation. All right, old business.
Okay, as I mentioned, I haven't heard anything yet out there on Carolina Ave from Nevada for those 5 people, and I don't want to commit to the engineering until I'm sure that that's going to happen.
Okay.
Other than that, that's the only old business I have.
Okay, new business.
I'd like to move the June 11th meeting to June 4th due to the AWA conference on June 11th, and then resume normal meetings back on the 25th again.
Okay, I'm looking at my calendar now. June 4th, all right. That's what we will do, and we'll have a regular meeting on next regular meeting on the 25th, right?
Yep, after we get back, so everybody will be duly notified.
All right, you will notify everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, do we have any other new business?
We're progressing, we're changing the lights out in the office here, we're going to the LEDs. And it's easy because all we gotta do is cut off the ballast and then splice the wires together and then put an LED bulb in there. So we're conserve a lot of energy. And they haven't done the high area yet. We gotta get a lift in here to do that, but we may get some rebate back from NIPSCO on these bulbs too.
Good. Yeah, these are the new ones here.
Yep.
You can tell the difference.
Yeah, we can tell the difference. All right, do we have any other new business?
Do we have any, you mentioned that was an older section,
What's that?
that area in Sheridan Beach.
Yeah, Sheridan Beach is old, yeah.
I mean, what percentage of our system would you say is 80 years old or older?
Just about in this area here where there's some lines that still date back to the 30s. A lot of the older main dates back to the 30s. They used to feed with 4 or 6-inch wooden water mains out there, and in 35 they updated that to 8-inch out there. So that some of these homes come off of that 8-inch cast iron now, but they were tied to the old wooden main.
Do we have any more wood anywhere?
No.
No, completely gone.
Got a sample downstairs somewhere.
Yeah, we dug that up on the old Ton and Blank property up there and put that downstairs on a case.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Ken?
Yeah, I was just wondering what type of, are we looking at replacing these areas and?
Basically, these are houses that serve from long straw services that used to run in between homes and more homes on one, like this one house down there, there's 3 homes off a 3/4 inch line, and they're updating the houses, and they're adding more restroom facilities, shower facilities. One home isn't going to feed off a 3/4 inch line, so what we want to do is kind of update them. There's no mains in this particular area, so we'll get mains in there, and then they'll pay for a 1-inch tap. If they need a bigger tap, they'll pay the time and material fee, but starting off with the 1-inch tap, that's just a standard fee, and I think that's fair and just for them.
Yeah, I guess I'm getting at, is there a replacement program on a...
Yeah, no, out there, I mean, the mains are
not just there, anywhere in town that has...
Normally, if they're doing a street project and there's an old main in there and we've had issues on it, we'll redo it. I know out here on 2nd Street years ago, we had several big main breaks on a 6-inch line, took out some of the highway. We replaced maybe a block and a half of water main out there, and we haven't had any issues since. And the same thing even down in the old Southgate area where we had some water main issues down there. The main was deep. We had some blowouts on the main, so we went in there and replaced a good block of main, a little bit better than that. Brought it up to grade, and we haven't had any issues since that. So there's places that we do know that we got to do it. And there may be a place at some point along 421 there because we've had some leaks out there, but for the distance that I'd like to do it, we looked at directional bore, we looked at slip lining the pipe. It's going to be costly no matter what.
Right. So I just kind of wonder if we were planning for that.
Yeah, I mean, we got areas we'd like to do it, but
just fix it when it breaks.
yeah,
basically.
I mean, you almost have to look at how many times you have a break on a line somewhere. If you have something that's like a dozen or so in a short area, then you may want to get in there and replace it. The Edgewood area, that's a good area to consider because when they went through there and put storm sewers in, their compaction underneath the water mains were bad, and then the ground started settling. Well, the mains, because they're cast, started settling, and that created a fulcrum on the mains, and then they would crack. So I think for the most part, that's kind of went away now for a while, but we still get main breaks out there. But cast iron is cast iron. It's going to break in 90-degree weather. It's going to break in 30-degree weather. So you just don't know. That's the nature of the beast. That's why we go to ductile iron pipe. So.
Question? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are you concerned we're getting to a point where we might have more of those?
No, I think for the most part, the mains are scattered around now with breaks. We've had 30, I think we had over 30 breaks last year, and some of them were on bigger mains. Now that we're wrapping the water mains with polyethylene pipe wrap, that saves with the acid getting on the pipe, so you're not eating and corroding the steel alloy out of the ductile iron. So I don't think we're going to have an issue that way. It's just, sometimes I think a lot of it's Mother Nature that you just don't know how the ground shifts when this happens.
Right.
And then like this past year, it was extremely cold. Mm-hmm. That has a lot to do with it, with frost levels going down in the ground. We didn't have a lot of freeze-up, so for some reason, but we had a lot of main breaks. So.
I imagine you would prefer to replace instead of using the slip-in method.
Well, yeah, because they only can do it up to a certain size pipe. When you got 12-inch pipe and we got butterfly valves, you got to cut the valves out. You can't slip line through a butterfly valve. You can do it on a gate valve, but even then you got to cut the valves out and replace the valves, and so it's a very costly job to slip line. I mean, if the metal breaks, I mean, the slip lining is gonna hold it in place, so you're not gonna lose any water that way, but directional bore is an option. But then again, then you gotta go back and you gotta dig everything up and make all your connections over again, and it's replacing a main is expensive.
Right.
So your best bet is to make sure you put it in right the first time with ductile iron, wrap it, make sure you got good bedding around it, and keep these people from digging around it as much as possible. Hey, everybody else is going in the ground. If I could hang a water main on a telephone pole to keep it out from getting dug up, I'd certainly figure out a way to do it.
Well, you have to work around the weather with that. Yeah.
We'll just start putting hot water through it.
Call before you dig.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right, any more new business? Public comment? No public comment. Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moving proper second, this meeting adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, this meeting's adjourned.